Christ is risen. Indeed, he is risen. Once again, we're here in our Real Health Clinic going after this bipolar disease. We said yesterday that a symptom of the bipolar disease here is that we call it the golf bag kind of approach, golf bag spirituality, where each club represents something we use to beat someone over the head with, and those things are like, you're a racist, you're a homophobic, you're a misogynist, whatever. As soon as somebody says something, we automatically assume that, put them in that category, even though that's not what they meant, it's not what they are, but we do it anyway. That's a symptom of the bipolar. It was said the worst one, of course, of all was this big one, the driver, I'm offended card. Now, why do we do that? The question is, why do we do that? Why do we reach for these things right away without listening to the person, being present to them, respecting them, and then put them in a category, size them up, judge them, dismiss them, render a verdict, beat them on the head with whatever club we think is appropriate? Why do we do that? It has to do with pride. Pride, because we want to be superior to the other person. We're always in this contest of trying to beat the other person. It's always about being the victor, proving them wrong and we are right, because we want to be superior. And when we can't prove them wrong necessarily, or we're sort of challenged by what they're saying, we can't really argue strong enough against it, we pull out the club and beat them with it. We call that bullying. But pride goes not just within ourselves. It can even be within a nation. In fact, in the Bible, it's the manual we use for our medicine here. Remember, our medicine is spirituality. The active ingredient is Jesus Christ. In the Bible, it says in Proverbs chapter 16, verse 18, it's a famous saying, pride goes before the fall. Pride goes before the fall. In fact, we have it right here in our manual. This is the manual we use here. Pride goes before the fall, and a haughty spirit also before a fall. So pride and a haughty spirit precede a fall. One of the things we're very concerned about here at our Real Health Clinic, since we're interested in real health, is a pride of our nation, a certain pride that's expressed this way. It's expressed what we call American exceptionalism, or an attitude of American invincibility. Yes, we have much to be proud about in America. But when we approach everything with an idea of exceptionalism, or that we are invincible, that could precede a downfall. As the Bible said, remember, the Bible's the Word of God. It's not me. It's the Word of God. That's why we use it at this Real Health Clinic. And I want to give you an example that we might be seeing. And our medicine here, our spirituality, does treat, one of the ingredients in here does treat pride. It treats a number of things, but the bipolarism, but the pride that's within bipolarism. So we highly, again, recommend this medicine, spirituality, active ingredient, Jesus. Here's what we're concerned about. Let's take Iran, for example. We have accomplished none of our goals thus far. Although we boast about what we've done, how we've destroyed and decimated their Navy, their Air Force, even though they still sink ships, they still have jets flying around and so on. Now, before I go any further, don't go bipolar on us, because it shows you have the disease. We're not criticizing. This is not a criticism of President Trump or our government. This is a diagnosis of something we're concerned about, so that we can suggest our medicine so that our government, our nation, does not go down because of pride. Remember, it's the Word of God, God who warns. Pride will bring down a person or a nation. If we look at it very closely, as we do here, we diagnose things very closely here. We're very scientific in our approach. We look at what our goals are. The Iranians still have their uranium. They still control the Strait of Hormuz. They still have weapons that they use, which we thought that we destroyed. They have their way of kind of getting around things and adapting. Now, as Americans, we should recognize that. We, of all people, How did the American revolutionaries defeat what was at that time the American military, what would be the counterpart of the American military now? The British Army, the British military was the greatest in the world at that time. How did a bunch of farmers here in America back in the 1700s defeat that great military? They did it by the same thing the Iranians are doing. They did it asymmetrically. They went with knowing their land, their culture better than the Brits, and they adapted, and they won. This is exactly what Iran is doing. And they're doing it because we went into this with our pride that we are going to just sort of, bomb them hard, hit them hard, and then they'll surrender and make a good deal with us. That's sort of the cookie cutter model we use to approach most of our international policies. But it's not working. The Bible also says this, and let me read it right from the Bible itself, from the Word of God itself. It says here, a patient man is better than a warrior, and he who rules his temper than he who takes a city. A patient man is better than a warrior, and he who rules his temper than he who takes a city. And it says this, very important. Entrust your works to the Lord, and your plans will succeed. Translated here at our health clinic, take the medicine, spirituality. Approach everything that way, which means you can't approach it with pride. Otherwise, it could mean your downfall. So we've not accomplished our goals, and we're embroiled in this. There's no end in sight. The only way we might accomplish our goals, it seems like, and these are the experts, because we plug into experts, is that we may have to go several more months and ramp up our efforts. Several more months. Remember, our government was saying this is supposed to end in a week or 10 days. We're ready to tell the Iranians, yeah, surrender, you're done. They're far from done because they did what Americans did. They did what Americans did in the Revolutionary War. They fought asymmetrically. They adapted. They got around. They used the advantage of knowing their own territory. So we're not accomplishing the goals. And there's nothing that says we're going to or when we are going to. And of course, we got the midterm elections coming up, which are probably, if we're still embroiled in this war, are not going to go well for the party of our president. He's probably concerned about that. That might cause him to pull out too soon, or to abandon, or to ramp something up in an inappropriate way, whatever. We don't know how he's going to react. And again, we're not criticizing. We're not against him. Don't go bipolar. I can't stress that enough. We are here to offer advice. Like a doctor. When a doctor says you got this or this disease, or you got to stop smoking, you don't say to him, why are you against me? You hate me because you criticized me. No, he's trying to help you. Same thing with us. If we see that our country is functioning maybe a little bit too much on this pride, we know that could be its downfall. And so we're bringing the caution forward, okay? We're cautioning so as to help. Do you understand? Did you hear what I said? Help our president, help our nation to succeed in whatever good intentions it has. That's what we're about here at Real Health Clinic. And that's hard to understand, because I know many of you are already, well, he's against Trump. How can he be against Trump? Don't you see what Trump's trying to do? That bipolar. Take our medicine. Stop being bipolar and listen to what we're saying. Listen to the message. The message is, we are for our president. We are for our country. We are for what is right. We are for spiritual, physical, psychological health. Is that clear? Therefore, like a good doctor that listens, diagnoses, we have to call out what might be wrong, what might be in need of a different kind of behavior. And right now, we're raising the flag. We're hearing something, listening to the heart of America, we're hearing something that we don't like in the heartbeat. And that is this pride. And the indications are this pride is, in fact, starting to bring us down. It's pointing to failure. So far, we have failed. In all that we've done, we have failed. We have not achieved one of our objectives in the war in Iran. And there is no telling how or when we will. So Again, the answer is spirituality, Jesus. And we'll talk more about how to take this spirituality. We indicated a little bit last time, but we'll talk more specifically about how to take this medicine, how to make it work for us. Because remember, we're all for you. We're all for the president. We're all for our nation. We're all for peace on earth. We are all for, above and beyond, God's plan, God's kingdom on earth.